Greetings. My name is Michelle Black, and I am the author of Storage Stories, which is a book of short stories about people who rent storage units in downtown Toronto. And this is one of several readings I'm going to be doing from chapters from the book so that you can get to know the characters and possibly want to dig in more deeply and find out more by getting a copy of the book. Good afternoon. I know it looks more like it should be good morning, but I'm not a morning person. But if you're a morning person, maybe a time for you to read while things are still quiet is in the morning. So here I am with my coffee and brunch, and I'm about to read you another chapter. This one is the third one. It is called Marla's Marred Marriage Mound. The tongue twister effect sometimes makes it a little tricky. Marla had been grateful when that very polite security guard who watched over Easy Storage had stepped in on yet another argument started by her son, though the man hadn't worked there then. That day, the argument with Stephen was outside the rental unit offices, where who knows what kind of people frequent. Thinking back, Marla wondered if she'd had anything to do with getting that nice young security guard the job. He looked a little rough, not as refined as her Stephen, but he behaved admirably in defending her. It was hardly the first situation where Stephen had lost his temper like that with her, nor the first time in public. But it was especially embarrassing and painful to have this happen at the site that held the last vestiges of her family, from the time when they still had a family that was the envy of their neighbors. Only a year or so after Stephen had started seeing Laurel, Marla, after another such humiliation by her enraged son, shared with Laurel how distressing her ex-husband's anger had been to her as well. She preferred to put the focus on Harold again, rather than interfere with the longest relationship her son had managed to have to that point. And it gave her a more neutral party to talk to about her many trials. She'd used the opportunity to both regale Laura with a memory and recall her former high-end serving pieces. You know, there were times where I got so mad at Stephen's father, I would pick up a dish to throw at him and then realize, I'm about to break the Royal Dalton. So I stopped myself, realizing I couldn't stoop that low. She'd kept the Dalton, but left the husband. That was her intended message to Laurel. She wouldn't dream of raising the subject of her son's anger to his new girlfriend, not then anyway, even if he could just be abominable. And now, rescued from Stephen's tyranny and Laurel's slackness, the Dalton lay wrapped in newspaper in one of the boxes that had a lid. Lately, her kids all seemed to be fighting with each other. Sometimes one pair or another would fight with each other, and the third would always call to complain to her about the other two, a pattern that had persisted for decades. More recently, their feud seemed to mostly be over payments for the locker. But they'd managed to come to agreement on something. Her youngest, who must have drawn the shorter straw, had just invited her for lunch, during which, spreading cream cheese on a bagel, she had informed her that the locker and all its contents would have to go. So what happens next? Does the locker get emptied? What can we learn about the kids and what has led to this situation? If you want to find out more, take a copy of Storage Stories. You can order it on Amazon. Right now, you can get it at a 25% discount. So worth checking out while you can. And thank you for joining me for another story time. We will see you next week for chapter number 4. Oh, almost forgot. If you are in the Scarborough area or thereabouts, there's going to be a book signing at Indigo in the Kennedy Commons. I'm having it on September 30th, Saturday, and it will also be celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the book being released. So if you're around, I would love it if you could join me, and if not, come back here. You'll get to see some virtual footage. Cheers, and have a great one.